Hi, this is Tatiana with Truth Ball in Search of Goof, and before we get started, I want you to know I'm not a doctor. These videos that I put on my YouTube channel are to help myself. It's part of my own coping strategy, as well as I'm always hoping that once I post it, that someone else is getting validated out there who may think that they are in an abusive relationship or need to be validated that yes, it is an abusive relationship and you can start making a plan to get out. However, this video is going to fall under, I believe it's going to fall under the Goofball Chronicles. I don't even know why I can't talk. That's even more so why it needs to go in the Goofball Chronicles, okay? Because I'm going to talk about something that is personal to me. And even though you may think that this channel is personal, yes, in a way it is personal. But I am a very private person, so I can say thank you for being with me on my YouTube channel. I do not share my YouTube channel with my real life social network. There's only a handful, 2 or 3 people that know that I do this, and you know, vice versa. I do like to keep my private life private. This channel is my diary, babes. It's me getting out, you know, things that I need to get out, things that I don't talk about with the lady at the grocery store about, right? Okay, so thank you for being a safe place for me to share. I'm going to need to use my hands, so I want you all to say hello to Princess. I do have a video that I still haven't had time to edit about how I got her. But I named her Princess, and I don't even know how to pronounce it, but at the time in my worship story I was reading about the Valley of Perazim, if that's how you say it. So, which means breakthrough. It's a valley of breakthrough, and that's right when I got her. And then my life hit the fan, and then I moved here. Okay, so anyway, I was like, the whole time I'm thinking, it's got to be a breakthrough. It's going to be a breakthrough, right? It's not that I'm devastated. Breakthrough. Okay, so there's my first ridiculous story. Anyway, so say bye-bye, Puisa. Say bye-bye, Puisa. So, because I need my hands later on for what I'm planning on doing. Okay, 2 quick things that I want to get out of the way. Number 1, fan funding. From my life personally, someone that I knew did know about this channel and did donate money for me in support of what I'm doing on the channel, because they had been watching the videos and saw that there's a fan funding link. I don't know how fan funding works. It's an option when you're trying to figure out, you know, how to do everything. If you don't have your own, or not, if you're not using your YouTube channel monetarily, I think it's probably, I think you almost need 200 people to watch a video to earn half a penny. So just so you know, I'm not doing this for money. However, it gave you the option for fan funding. So I'm just going to toss that out to you guys. Yes, I have been a writer. Yes, I do want to be a writer. Now that this person gave me money to support the channel, that is my intention, is to publish. So, so I'm just tossing that out there. And certainly in no way are you obligated, or can I even track if, you know, who's donated and who hasn't. Okay, I'm not concerned about that. But when he did that, it really kind of upped my responsibility game. Like, okay, so please donate your prayers. Donate your suggestions about what I should write. I do know a little bit about writing, okay? I have been published, okay? I'm not the best, okay? I don't see a Nobel Prize in my future. But wait a second, maybe I do. Okay, give me the suggestions I need for my Nobel Prize in the future. Okay, so, or if you figure out how fan funding works, you are certainly welcome to donate money to the cause. Okay, secondly, I feel like I kind of lost my shit a little bit. I didn't lose my shit, but I definitely got, you know, kind of aggro there at the end of the other video that I had posted for action versus reaction. When I'm encouraging, really, I'm just forcefully encouraging the guys to get counted. And I wanted to explain how I feel about guys, okay? One, let me put it this way. Be Good 4000. That was the first YouTube video channel that I started watching. It's computerized. It was kind of odd. And then once I started watching, I'm like, this guy is really, really good. And had a lot of good stuff to say. So going from that mindset, like, okay, you know, this crap is happening to guys. I have seen it happen to guys. You know, what female narcissists do. But recently I was watching one of his videos, and he was talking about, and I don't really know where it is, because I do stick my head in the sand on a lot of stuff in the news because it gets overwhelming. But anyway, some woman just killed her teenage daughters in front of her husband. And anyway, Be Good 4000 does this video kind of, you know, saying this is not okay what these female narcissists are getting away with, and all of the signs that she was a narcissist. And anyway, and it really does touch my heart, and this is really the first time I'm truly acknowledging what I think about this for guys. I don't have enough personal stories, at least I don't think I do, of female narcissists. If you've watched my videos, you know I have mommy issues, so I actually have a hard time bonding with women in the first place. Truly, the best bonding I've done with women is with groups like this. Women who are not using men. They're clearly not using men because they've been used, and therefore I feel safer with them, okay? So most of my friends are guys. And so I have seen, you know, things that are not cool, but I don't have much experience communicating with female narcissists, and that's why I feel limited and disappointed in myself as a support system. That's why I keep tossing you over to Be Good 4000, or, you know, please in the comments put something if you found something that's good for guys. But I can say this, that the guys that I know who have been mistreated by women, okay, because this is the thing that I know guys are dealing with, is it feels shameful. Now, women, when we've been in an abusive relationship, it is shameful. But it's like society in general has judgments towards men who have been abused. And I was trying to think, you know, well, if it's not called abuse, because this is the thing within society, when we say abuse, we just automatically assume that, you know, he's just a weakling and she must have been, like, you know, punching him in the face, and how come he didn't stand up for himself, kind of thing. And that is the case in some instances regarding women and physical violence. But the attitude towards the word abuse associated with men is wrong. And I just want to validate that it's wrong, because there are many men who are being abused, and instead what's socially acceptable is when they say, well, she's just a bitch, she's a psycho, she's a stalker, something that you know, says, you know, that she's aggressive and he was aggressive back, and that makes it socially acceptable that, oh yeah, man, you know, bro, good job getting rid of that crap, you know. But truly, men who are quote unquote abused, I mean, you guys are going through a lot. Women are getting away with all kinds of abuse on your kids, and it's not okay. It's not okay, because a lot of times you and I know that she got pregnant in the first place just to fucking control you, and you love those children regardless of the fact that she was part of the mix, right? So how do you get control back? So anyway, it's why I'm so passionate about it, because I do, in a sense, feel helpless. But I do want, again, to encourage you to call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. I would almost even just, if you're not stressing about something, just give them a call. I would love to see them get an onslaught of men calling so that they can raise up their statistics that men are saying this, that, and the other thing, and that they are being abused, so that the law will become more aware. And we do understand that the law does favor women, and the law was developed that way. Why? Because women were being abused, and there was a social outcry about women being abused and how can we protect them, and men are taking advantage of women, so let's protect the women. Okay, so it was society that brought about the help that we as women have. We'll use that same game, guys. Get out there and fight and get yourself counted, because there are some serious bitches out there. And I'm telling you, it's why I have a hard time bonding with women, because like I said, the support groups, girlfriends, you're safe. You're safe to me because somebody else used you, so you're not the person who's using people. But for me, socially, when I have met women, you know, I'm thinking, you know, like, you know, I'm out meeting some girlfriend and she's saying, let's take a picture. I want a picture of all of us. I'm going to send it to this guy because I really want him to feel jealous that I'm out. I'm telling you what, the moment that scenario goes down, I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I do not want to be around any kind of manipulation of a man. None. And it nauseates me at any level to manipulate a man. Totally. I need a strong man in my life. And all good women do want that. Okay? So if you are a good man and you got taken advantage of by a bitch, then dump the bitch and be that strong man that you are. She targeted you because you rock. So, I hope I was clear. You're a hottie. Get out there and get counted. All right? Okay, I hope that made sense. Here we go. My last part. This is actually what I woke up thinking about. And why I'm dumping it in the Goof Chronicles, because it's I'm going to give you an insight to how my mind works. So it could freak you out. And then I'll use the excuse that, oh no, I was just being goofy. Okay? This is what happened to me 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's been a little bit of a while. Okay. And I'm going to quote some scripture here because this is part of how my mind works. Okay, but so don't get offended. Just pick out what my message is. So I'm reading this worship story. I'm feeling like shit. And I'm reading through this worship story, and it's the story about Mephibosheth. Okay, Mephibosheth is this dude, Saul's son, anyway, and he was dropped when he was a baby. So he's like, his legs don't work, right? And now he's a grown man, but his legs don't work. And anyway, King David could have punished Mephibosheth because his father, you know, had done so many bad things to David. Okay, and instead, David gives Mephibosheth mercy and says, you know, I'm going to give you all this land and all this kind of stuff, and you will eat at my table, the king's table, right? Well, I'm reading that story, and, you know, I'm in negative mindset mode, so I'm like, I'm going to always be broken. That's exactly what I thought. I'm like, I am always going to be broken, God. I'm always going to be broken. I'm never going to have a healthy, loving relationship for me, okay? So, and I know the message was, you know, even if you're broken, God is going to feed you at the royal table for the rest of your life, right? So, you know, eventually I'm kind of pulling myself into like, okay, if I'm broken, then help me do really good videos. Good Lord, help me take that brokenness and do something good with it, okay? If I'm going to have to pay that price and be broken my whole life. Okay. Then, okay, and I'm looking down at my notes, so hang in there. Sometimes I actually lose my train of thought when I have notes like that. Okay, so then it did remind me, though, about, you know, when I was dealing with that Mephibosheth story, it reminded me a few months ago, I had been looking up something about PTSD, and then I ended up getting more into the dry research and studies and stuff of PTSD, and then I'm reading some researcher's report, blah, 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 and I'm getting to the end of it, and it's talking about whatever, therapies they were suggesting, yada, 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 but concluding that that it was very difficult to return someone back to normal. And I think it used that word, normal. And so I actually spent quite a while spinning that word over and over in my mind, normal. And I thought, that's right. When I got divorced and I'm going through PTSD and therapy, because I'm getting off of these fucking drugs, I am going to be healed, right? I am kicking ass. I want out of this brokenness, right? I want to be normal. And here I am. It's been almost 10 years since I got divorced. And honeys, I will never be normal. And I'm starting to get pretty damn okay with that. I'm realizing, okay, prior to the divorce, I was suffering in a zillion different fucking ways that I had no concept of. Well, here I am 10 years later. I've been through hell, but I've been through hell. I'm not in hell anymore. I'm not in hell anymore. Okay? So, why would I want to be normal? I have seen things that other people haven't seen. Things that you have seen. Okay? You and I, in the trenches. We've been in the trenches. We are in the trenches. We're getting out of the trenches. Okay? But you and I have seen things that we try to talk to somebody else about it, and they have no idea what we're talking about, and they're kind of like, huh? Makes me feel like a Vietnam veteran. Makes me feel like I just kicked ass, and you're spitting in my face. I have worked hard to understand the things that I understand. The things that I have done to be a whole human being, consciously aware of my behavior, other people's behavior, and I get treated like that? Well, maybe it's just perfectly fine that we're not normal. Okay? So, as I'm going through that thought process, okay, then something seriously bad happened to me. Is it still this week? I'm like, man, I've been through a struggle. I think so. There's a video I posted where I was like, bad hair day. And okay, so something really bad happened that day. And not with abuse or anything like that, but something bad happened that day. And this is the thing. So I open up my worship story and, what does the Lord have to say to me today? Because boy, howdy, do I need help. I'm about to lose it and be just beyond discouraged. And my worship story says something about it, just being a normal day and how, sometimes nothing really special happens and you just, you just have faith in God and you just, it's okay. It's okay that, nothing exciting is happening. And I'm thinking, this is so the opposite of what's going on in my life. This has never happened to me before. It's the potential of shame. This is bad. It's just really, really, really bad. And I don't know what to do about it. And I don't understand what you're doing, God. And the worship story is like, oh, you poor thing. I know sometimes it's just a ho-hum day. But ho-hum days are okay. Just keep trudging. And I'm like, okay, that is the worship story you gave me for the day. Let me contemplate this. So I go over the last 6 months, and just like you saw, Princess Perizim, that was a whole drama storm after I got her. Like 24 hours. It totally changed my life, da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, I'm going over these 6 months. I'm thinking, no, I've been struggling with this issue for 6 months, and I have not been able to make a difference. And I'm out of it. I'm out of options. I'm out of options of everything that I've been trying to do to break through, right? Perizim, to break through. Okay. Oh. I suppose if I've been doing this struggle for 6 months, Today is just a normal day. This has become normal. This particular struggle is normal. So I'm going to stop freaking out, because I have multiple times dealt with this, close to this problem, and now I'm having this problem. It's normal. How did I feel before? Lost my shit, everything worked out. That's how I felt. Lost my shit, everything worked out. Next time, I didn't lose my shit as much, worked out. Next time, lost my shit less, worked out. This time, after reading that story, I was like, I am flat out not going to lose my shit. And then you see me doing a video, right? I put on my cashmere. I was like, okay, let me do a video, and I'll make sure that I mention some of the positive things going on in my life. It helped. I was like, this is so bizarre, right? Goofball Chronicles. I am a weirdo. Kind of like it that way. Okay, now, even though I just mentioned, a couple of things that have to do with my religion, I do want to say that, the message that I want to get across today in conclusion is that religion is actually irrelevant to my, to the message that I want to say. Even though I'm going to quote a couple more things. For example, since I've moved and I've been able to start editing and getting some more videos up, I had come across in my Bible this thing about the end times. In the end times, it says, men will become lovers of themselves. And I thought, ooh, that's creepy. Because look at how much this awareness of narcissism is growing. And if you don't know the exact definition of narcissism, it is based on, oh, now I can't even remember, but that guy, Narcissus, who stares at himself he stares at his reflection, okay? It is a love of self, okay? So I was like, oh, that's so bizarre, right? Okay, so if we're going to have an increase of people who are in love with themselves, well, certainly there needs to be people who are aware of that and not in love with themselves in that destructive, evil way. So after I moved, and I know you can see this chart, but I do have, I have like a calendar over here. Anyway, so I had come across these two verses and I put them up here. I didn't know why they were important to me, but I hope that the message is important to you. But one of them, because I'm like, breakthrough, right? Okay, one of them, which is a favorite, is Isaiah 60, verse 1, that says, arise and shine, for the glory of the Lord is upon you. I've always loved that one, because we all grew up with somebody saying, rise and shine. It's from the Bible, honeys. Arise and shine, okay? I love that. And then this one had come to me, and who knows, maybe it's only just for this video. That it had come to me, but I wrote this one, which is Joel 3, verse 9, and it says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. And that is more than, when I'm doing my videos and I'm having my own coping strategy and encouraging myself, when I walk away, I think about you, the viewer, and I think, I want those people to rise up. And I don't want people to be stuck on the codependent carousel. We do get stuck there. I don't want them stuck. And yet, if you're saying, if we're stuck thinking that we're broken, there's no fight left. So in one way you can have hope. Those of us who are religious, we have hope that, we are going to eat at the King's table. We will be blessed in this world, okay? And then there's also, hey, it's a normal day. It's a normal day, and we get up and we fight for what is right. For example, when I was doing the video and I was talking about the passive-aggressive, stupid, idiot crap that the covert narcissist did, and I was talking about last night I went to sleep thinking about this, that how can you turn the attacks on you into a positive. For example, you know, if you understand the element of the process of Tai Chi, mostly what you're doing is using someone else's attack against them, right? So I was thinking last night, I thought, you know, all of those little passive aggressive things that I didn't notice before, I didn't notice those things before I became aware. Now I feel like a mighty warrior, but on the other hand, it is like that Vietnam veteran, right? It's difficult to go to war and to come back into the regular world and not notice anymore that people around you could want to kill you at any moment. That's a heavy emotional change. So now I'm like, we do see, I'm like, that's passive aggressive. I hate that shit. You know, but before I never noticed it. Okay, so anyway, so last night I was thinking, you know, well, what do you do now that you do see it, right? Because I don't want to be always obsessing about it. I don't want to obsess about the things that I see. I want the mighty power. Okay, this is my only solution, but you're welcome, you know, to make suggestions. But I thought, you know what I'm going to do? Every single time that somebody does something passive aggressive, subtle passive aggressive, I'm gonna passive aggressively donate money. You know, like when you're at the grocery store and they've got the change jar. I'm gonna. So if it's not passive, I'm going to aggressively donate. Literally, just because that's the economy that I'm going to participate in. If those narcissists are allowed to constantly deposit ridiculous ass bullshit into all of our lives every fucking day, then I am going to intentionally deposit something positive randomly. Another grocery store, another grocery store, another grocery store. Next time somebody's an asshole to me, I'm going to take a roll of quarters and go all around town. Okay, it's just a suggestion, but anyway. Okay, let me see if I can come back to my original train of thought. Okay, yes, coming back to the fact that, and I appreciate you if you're still hanging in there with me and you're not Christian, if you're pulling out what I'm trying to say, is that we, in my opinion, and this is literally what I want to say and why it's going into the Goofball Chronicles, because this is my personal view of you, every single person who has made it this far in this video. I see you as a warrior, irrelevant to our religious differences. If you're a Christian, you are David, that giant slayer. If you envision yourself as, what did I watch the other day? Jason and the Argonauts. You know, maybe you are Jason going for that golden fleece. You know, guys, you are that one who's just going to fight everything that you need to fight and pull together your team because you're going to get the golden fleece that conquers the land. Okay? Or maybe you are a dragon slayer. Whatever image that you have of that warrior, soldier that has seen the carnage and made it out alive, I would encourage you to glom onto that, hold on to that image of yourself. And the reason is, even when I was doing the video about Grey Rock, and I was thinking about that covert narcissist, and because I had gone Grey Rock on this dude for so long and was observing his behavior, I was able to see that everyone around him that he abused, because I was able to see the abuse that he put on everyone around him. The people that he abused all had low self-esteem. They all did. And it made me really aware, like, okay, Tatiana, you think that you're this strong person, etc., but there's obviously something somewhere that he saw where your self-esteem was still low. So this is now about 3 years ago, I think. Excuse me. So I began working on that. And this was a really interesting thing. One of the parties he had taken me to, I met someone, you know, a friend of his friend, something like that. Anyway, and so then the next event, he had already started his crap, and so I didn't go to that event. And that guy had come and said, "Oh, I got you guys a housewarming gift." So I'm going to show you this housewarming gift for a moment to validate me and also to validate you. What happens when you start telling yourself that you are valuable? Out of nowhere, he gives us these mugs, right? So I got my tea mug, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he, that was so sweet. And then I get it like close up. It's gold. It's gold. There's gold on my regular old coffee mug. Okay? Every time I look at this mug, I think everybody in the world has a mug, your favorite mug. And I'm like, I look at it like, I got gold on mine. Okay? And I truly believe that that is only because I started to own that I was valuable. It had nothing to do with getting this mug. I didn't go and buy it. Some random dude gave me a gold mug. Okay, so I hope you're getting my point. Once you start believing that you are valuable, you will start attracting being treated valuably, okay? And then, okay, so now, thanks guys. I know I'm going to make another long video, but I really had to get all of this out. So thank you if it is interesting to you and it is encouraging. At least I'm going to tell you that was my goal. Okay. So let's see. And then the last thing. So here we go. Okay. So the last thing I wanted to tell you about, and this was actually really personal. Okay. But when I stopped teaching, I ended up going into economic development. And my boss became a wonderful mentor. And so this is my last story because it's an analogy about our awareness about narcissism. So my ex-husband and I had bought this business and we ended up moving. And so I had only worked for the guy for like 6 months. And the chick who worked for him before was there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years. Okay. He didn't like her. It's very interesting. But I've only worked for the guy for 6 months. He was a huge mentor because I went from teaching kids. I've got a totally different mindset. I went from doing, all of the Little Caesars and Walmart kind of, bust your ass kind of work. I did all of that stuff, graveyard shift working at 7-Eleven. I've busted my ass, honeys. And then I moved into teaching, which was a whole nother awesome thing with kids and, nurturing their little lives. All my kids are grown up. It's just like, oh, I'm so proud of them. Okay. And then I ended up moving into economic development, which is political, a totally different realm. And one of the many things that he taught me was how politics worked between people, the actual people, which was totally eye-opening. Communication that had been occurring that I had never been aware of. So those of you who have been in that professional realm, you get it. But it was eye-opening to me. And one of the things, a very simple example, was the power position in a conference. So, for example, we had, I don't know, like 20, 30 people, 25 people, I think, when we did our meetings, okay? And so there's so many people that have to see my boss that it's like set up in a square. Okay, so there's the power position in the front. So I can tell you that there's my boss, and then next to him is the flippin' mayor. Next to him is the guy that they've chosen is going to be mayor. Okay, it doesn't matter what you're going to vote. The dude's going to be mayor. Okay. And then you've got, this guy who is the highest paid guy in the entire city, etc., right? But my boss has the power position. And, ooh, you could tell that the other people were peed off when they would walk in the room and see where they were seated. It was fascinating. I had never known that. So, when I was leaving the last meeting that I attended, my boss and the guy next to him in our office space had gone shopping. I didn't know this. But you know, they had called me up to the front and said, well, our Tatiana is leaving us now, and we want to give her a farewell gift. He didn't give a farewell gift to Miss 3 Years. He gave it to me. I was like, actually, I was really embarrassed. I really didn't want to go up front because that's a lot of people around. But I went anyway. Okay, this is the deal. So I'm trying to unwrap this gift, and I had already been to the shop where this is handmade. These wine glasses. These wine glasses, I already knew. As soon as I saw the glass, I'm like, oh, I knew where they were from, and I know that they're $80 a piece. It's $160 worth of wine glass right there. Just the glass. I was just like, it was the most sweet present. But I'm going to tell you why it was even sweeter. And I did get to have coffee with him the next day and tell him this. And of course I cried and had to tell him that is the most special gift ever that anyone has ever given to me. And this is why. I sat in the back of the room, you know, doing meeting minutes. He called me to the front, to his power position, which meant that someone had to move. The mayor had to move for me. And after he moved, he had to turn his head to look at me. Okay, he wasn't going to turn his body, but he had to turn his head to look at me. And everyone, and it took a while, we couldn't get it unwrapped. The whole room has to watch me. And that's what I said thank you to Ron for, because I was just a secretary. I was just a secretary. I did have a fancy title, but you know, really, in the end, he was my mentor, and he honored me with making everyone devote all of their attention to me. And that was, I think, the first time in my life that I felt honored for the work that I did. So I want to take a moment, if you have not done this yet in your fight to be a warrior, I want to take a moment to grant you your glass of honor. And I also want to crown you as the victorious survivor. And I want to say, cheers to you, my love, for all of your hard work. I hope that you become everything that you deserve to be. Victory to you. Much love.